Ask Reddit.
What's the most messed up post you've ever seen on our relationships?
There was one recently where a guy had liver cancer, and so his sister gave him part of hers. However, many years later he found out that she had terminated a pregnancy so that she could go through with the surgery and save his life. Apparently her husband had not been happy with that decision, and it caused their divorce. That one stood out to me because it actually seemed like a situation where nobody was really in the wrong, just put to face with some really tough choices. Lose-lose really, but I feel she made the right decision. She saved a life that was already established, loved, and would be greatly missed by many if he died. A fetus hasn't made these connections to the world. I hope she rests easy in her selfless decision. And her connection to her brother would be greater than to the unborn child at that time. I would make the same decision, I think. How do you know that? The brother's not dead yet.
There's two that I can remember that I thought were really crazy to me. A couple that had been trying for a long time to conceive had finally gotten pregnant. When she was 5 months, her so got drunk and picked her up and tried to carry her down the stairs. They fell and she ended up losing the baby. Absolutely devastating. I tried to find the thread again a few days after it was posted, but it was gone. I hope they're doing okay now, but if I was the guy I wouldn't want to live anymore after that. There was a crazy thread about a woman who believed her coworker was trying to sell her adopted child online. Her suspicions ended up being right. The woman had adopted a child and was trying to rehome him because she didn't want to take care of him anymore. Cops got involved and I think the woman was arrested. Before that I didn't even know that people actually did that kind of thing. Apparently it's a huge problem. Way before I got into Reddit, my friend showed me the Op and Enko, I think that's what it was, story. Japanese kid who was way obsessed with this girl, probably mentally challenged in some way. The creepy thing was all the trolls egging him on. He would post an update about sending her 100 emails in one day, and for every person telling him that was stalking, 5 more would tell him to send 200 to prove his love. It might have been a hoax, but it was fucked up anyway. Stupid fucking hamster face. I love our relationship, that place is so dramatic. I think my favorite one was this one about a girl going to a family reunion with her boyfriend for the first time and thought that his relationship with his sister was weird. Like his sister would sit on his lap, someone commented on this saying, "The only reason why I would sit on my brother's lap is to fart on him lol," and generally affectionate things. Most of Reddit thought it was weird, but it must be just like one of those affectionate kind of sibling relationship, and since Op was an only child, it was kinda hard to understand. Nope. It went from like 0 to 100 real fast. Apparently the brother and sister participate in an incestual relationship when they were younger, like 11 and 14 if I remember, got his sister pregnant during that time. He swears they stopped, but they did some suspicious stuff in the night that kinda assumes they're still doing it. It was a fucking roller coaster. Edit. Typos. Holy shit. I read the first post, but never got that additional update. Is she still together with incest dude? Probably some fake ass fap story by some neckbeard. I'm pretty sure they broke up if I remember. Incestual relationship is a pretty big deal breaker. And it would suck to have your boyfriend's ex be his sister. The post have been removed, but I didn't know why. Wouldn't hesitate to loan them money though. I probably will get quite a bit of shit for this, but why? I don't dwell on the fact that a girlfriend has fucked other dudes. Why does that change when it involves a sibling? So don't take this as the only answer, but I get what you're talking about. There are like biological repercussions. Since you and your sister share about 25% of DNA, apparently reproducing can cause their kids to have a higher risk of diseases, illness. Socially, it's perceived as a platonic relationship between your brothers and sisters. Getting involved sexually and romantically is fucked up in the sense there is a disassociation of what a person think of your relationship should be than what it actually is.
This was a random Reddit comment somewhere that I'll never find again. Basically, dude worked as a cop and told the worst story I think I ever heard. It seared into my memory. One woman early in childhood got into a car accident and the car caught fire. While she survived, her parents did not, and she watched them screaming as they burned alive. Result is lifelong trauma, PTSD. She struggles with the memory and is deathly afraid of fire. Fast forward 20 years or so, and she's dating this real winner of a guy. During an argument, he ties her to a chair in the corner of her apartment and douses her in gasoline. He goes to the other end of the room, takes a box of matches, and starts lighting and throwing them at her. Every time he throws a match, it gets closer and closer to her. Cops blow down the door after the neighbors hear blood-curdling screams coming from the apartment. He's taken off to jail and she's found utterly incoherent, shaking, and having urinated herself. I think adding even more insult to injury, this was like New Zealand or some shit where the DV laws suck, and he got only a few weeks in jail over it. Holy fuck.
I remember this. It was in another AskReddit thread, something about cops with their worst stories, maybe 2 to 3 months ago. That entire thread was a swirling black hole of despair and sadness. The one of the gay dude claiming his man had cum into some pastries the guy made for a work function. He had found out after the fact, so he wanted to know if he should tell everyone or leave it be. I would most definitely tell the cops. But if I was the one who ate one of them, I don't think I would want to know unless I needed to be tested.
Meh. As far as having stranger fluids introduced into one's body goes, it's probably the safest way. Assuming he cooked them after being filled with cum, it's relatively low risk. Not saying it was okay by any stretch, but still.
Plus with the added protein, it probably fits into my macros. Probably not the most messed up I've ever read, but one of the most memorable in terms of WTF is wrong with this guy. The op was posting because she was upset that during a blackout or so burned a candle that she made with her sister right before she died in an accident. The thread was mostly it was probably a mistake, or he's an insensitive jackass who doesn't care about your feelings. So she confronted him about this, and he essentially admitted to burning it on purpose to break her. Basically they started dating shortly after her sister's death, and he is attracted to distraught or emotionally broken people, so now that it's a few years in she's begun to deal with her sister's death, so he realized that his fetish was wearing off, so he intentionally fucked with Ops Memento to reignite that fire. There was a guy a little while back who had adopted a teen with his wife. Bio daughter, adopted daughter, and bio son all being around the same ages. Bio daughter didn't like adopted daughter at all. Bio brother and mother accepted her as their own. Adopted daughter goes to college and has sex with a guy which brings back all of her trauma from being raped as a kid and attempts suicide. Hospital wants to send her home and bio daughter throws a shit fit, claiming she's scared of adopted daughter and doesn't want her around. Mom takes her side and tells dad that if he brings adopted daughter home, she'll take bio sis and leave. He had 2 days to decide. I ripped into him and told him his bio daughter was being selfish and manipulative, and that he had a responsibility to keep the promise he made this girl to treat her like family or risk her succeeding in her next suicide attempt. He never responded and he's not updated. I worry for the girl.
I remember that one. That one pissed me off.
I checked a few minutes ago, apparently he did update, but it was buried quickly. His wife acted the way she did because she was scared apparently, and then stood up for adopted daughter. Adopted daughter ended up not wanting to go home at all, so they helped her find an apartment and a job, and now she's in therapy and getting better. Mom, dad, bio bro, and adopted daughter have quality time at least once a day, and bio daughter threw a shit fit again. They've since told her that her act needs to change or she needs to leave. They're making her volunteer at a runaway shelter with them now, and she's taking tutelage from a Sunday school teacher who's trying to get her out of her selfish behaviors. So I guess it's ended well for everyone.
I'm so glad things turned out okay. Thanks telling us. I never saw the update either. I'm glad there was an update to that one. I felt so bad for the adopted daughter.
Ah, catharsis. How does it feel? You don't need to worry anymore. It's kind of nice. As a practically adopted, abused previously homeless, and often suicidal teen, I was really worried for her. So many that one girl who had alleged phobia, went to therapy for it, of spiders, is probably the one that sticks out to me the most. For months, her boyfriend saved up a bunch of spiders that he'd found around their apartment and put them in a jar. Then he threw them on her as a prank while they had company over. I don't think my skin will ever stop crawling. Neither will your wounds ever heal. I have a pretty rational fear of spiders, and I would literally murder someone for this. I have no fear of spiders. Like none at all. But mark my words, if someone does this to me I am full on head first charge tackling them while covered in spiders, and I will beat their ass stupid. No one throws a jar of spiders on titanium brainium and walks away to tell the tale. Discreetly throws jar of spiders at titanium brainium. There was that one poor gal whose boyfriend found it hilarious enough to even sort of encourage his dog to mount her while they were having sex. He'd take his sweet time trying to get the dog off of her. Everyone reading that, myself included, was just losing our freaking minds about how she had not DTMFA. The kicker? In her update he ended up dumping her, disgusted she would even suggest that his jokes had drifted into bestiality territory. He went full scorched earth on the girl and poisoned the proverbial well by painting her as a perv within their friends group. I felt absolutely gutted that this guy pretty much destroyed her whole life. If she still Reddits, I hope she knows that I still think about her and hope she has found happiness. Dump that mutha fucking asshole. And here I thought it was some dog to human STD. Dog to man full on AIDS.